All right. If you are watching this, that probably means that you're interested and have a kid that's interested in joining the Lone Peak Junior Devo mountain bike team. This is specific for the Junior Devo team, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm Coach Steve. Let's go through some slides. So if you're looking at this team and you need to find more information, I'm going to put this up front here so that you have the resources to go look for some other information as the season progresses. If there are things that I don't address here, check out these places. So we have lpjuniordevo.org, which is our website, and I try to update it to provide some information. There's a calendar on there that has the upcoming dates of things, and there will also be a link to register once registration opens for the youth, and that happens April 1st. I'll talk more about that. UtahMTB.org is our parent organization. It is the Utah NICA League, and they have some resources there. If you're poking around that website, just know we're Region 5. Our team also uses TeamSnap, which is an organizational tool in order to register athletes, communicate with parents, and do all sorts of things. So it's an important program, but it can be kind of frustrating. And you get registered in that once you begin the registration process. Next is Pit Zone. That's the parent organization software that helps track athletes in the league. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email, coach@lpjuniordevo.org. That is probably the most reliable way to get a response from me. You can also follow us on social media. I'm not the best at social media responding and keeping up with that. If you are passionate about social media and you want to help out the team, let me know too, so we can be better at that. Okay, yeah, introductions. I'm Stephen Farnsworth. I am the head coach of the Junior Devo team. This is my second year being a head coach. I have 2 kids, and my youngest is doing their second year in Devos. Then fortunately, Camille Hine has agreed to be the assistant head coach this year. And so you'll see her around a lot. She's got a bunch of kids on the team and more kids that will be on the team. So you'll see her around and she's going to be helping out. All right. And let me give you a bit about my background. I've been biking since I was a kid. My parents, my dad was one of those lycra wearing nerds in the 90s that rode his bike to work and got one of the early mountain bikes. And so I've been in a biking family for a long time. This is a great follow on as me helping my kids. And I also have known, even as somebody that's very experienced in mountain biking, as you get introduced to the team, it's very overwhelming. There's a lot to learn. Even if you're super familiar with biking, it can still be quite a challenge to figure out all the information in the program. So hopefully this helps. And like I said, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, because I know it's intimidating. All right. In this presentation, I want to really kind of focus on these things: who, what, when, where, why. Uh, what we're doing: cross-country mountain biking. Who? 7th and 8th graders that are going into 7th and 8th grade in the 2024-2025 school year. So in the fall, if they are going into 7th and 8th grade, then they are on the Junior Devo team. If in the fall they are going into 9th grade, then they will be on the high school team and will race as a freshman on the high school team. Even though our Utah school districts have 7th, 8th, and 9th in the middle school. So it's a little bit weird, but yeah. So when we are gearing up for registration on April 1st, and then registration will close, we will be in the preseason, and that will last until June when we start practices. And then in the end of August into early September, we have 3 races. And I'll go into much more detail about that. Where we hold practices around Utah Valley, nothing should take you more than about 30 minutes to drive to, and hopefully even less depending on where you live. And most of you should be within the Lone Peak High School boundaries. So we'll go over a little bit of the where and the different practice locations that we use. Races change every year. They are throughout the state, and we moved. The league tries to put the races closer to the teams, and try to minimize driving. But like we have a race this year in Vernal, and so that's a bit longer of a drive. And the why is really to have fun, and we'll go over that. Okay, so this is my son there during one of the races. This is cross country mountain biking. Okay, this is not downhill mountain biking. This is not enduro racing. This is cross country. We go uphill and downhill. So if you want to go on that downhill, we try to ride up it. So the races are about 6 miles, and they they have about 600 feet of climbing. So expect to be going up and downhill at practices. And a lot of the terrain that we have around here that we practice on, we will do some climbing. Now, I'll go into a little bit more about hopefully that doesn't scare you off. But during practices, we ride green and blue trails. We're not trying to train like champion downhillers on double blacks. We try to keep it in the green and blue because we are cross country. Most of the trails around here are green and blue, so it works out very nicely. When we have practices, we might have as many as over 80 kids on the team. Typically, they all don't show up. So say we have like 60 to 70 kids show up at one practice, which would be a good number for us. We will break all those kids into 6 groups based on riding ability, so that they can ride with kids that are at a similar ability, and that just makes for a better experience for everyone. We have practices that we say they last about 2 hours, but we typically ride for about 60 to 90 minutes, and we'll cover between 4 and 20 miles depending on the ability of the group. Some of these strong kids are ridiculously strong, and they'll go hammer for 2 hours. And some of our other kids, we will go on a dirt road and try to make it as far as we can. But we accommodate all abilities. And I already mentioned the races. They take a varying time based on ability to complete, and there's a wide spread. We have some other programs that we work within that we try to, it's not just mountain biking. We also try to be good maintainers of the trail systems that we use. We have other fun social activities. Like here we have GRIT. That's girls riding together. We want to improve the environment for the sport to encourage girls to come out and to participate. And we have a lot of girls on our team, and that's, I think, a great addition. All right. So, who? And if you are watching this presentation, it means you. So we not only do we want the participants, so I mentioned this, if you're 7th and 8th grade in the fall of 2024, we really do want complete beginners, or if you're an aspiring Olympian, come ride with some other kids that are passionate about mountain biking. The positions are first come, first serve. Oh, I should also mention that to be on the Lone Peak team, you should either be within the boundaries of Lone Peak or planning to attend Lone Peak High School. So Alpine School District allows you to go to different schools, but if you're feeding into Lone Peak eventually, then you can come ride with the junior Devos. And the league has corrected us in the past when we've had people out of bounds who aren't planning on going to Lone Peak come. So that's the who. Positions are first come, first serve. There's no tryouts. There's no filtering or selection process. It's just we have a cap of 100 to 110, but we haven't hit it in the past couple of years. So there is room for you on the team. We have some other programs. Elevate is for students that may have special needs that might need a little additional attention, but we can definitely accommodate people with special needs. We believe in equity. We want to provide resources for those who can't afford to participate or may not have the resources. So please reach out if the cost of the team or attaining a bike is a problem. And we have scholarships and some loaner bike programs that we can help you out with. And then we try to expect that you make at least 75% of practices and come to all 3 races. Now, we know that realistically we have kids in all sorts of different programs that may have conflicts, but it helps when, like for practices, if everybody's coming to practice and they're all progressing at the same speed, then they stay together. Otherwise, we might have a kid fall behind because they're not coming to practice as much as some of the others. So, all right. And like we truly do have riders of every level. Maybe Napoleon could have come and improved his skills. Okay. And then we also need parents. We have a lot of a need for parental involvement. We expect the parents to be involved, and we require you to volunteer in some way or another as part of registering your child with the team. It's a unique sport that you can come and you can participate at just about every practice with your kid. And we need a lot of parents to guide these different kids through our trail systems, because we do break into groups and we need a certain amount of parental coverage. We need coaches, certified coaches in every group. And in order to come ride with the team, we have a registration process. That link is on the website. It says come ride with us. Go click that, you'll register, and you'll get plugged into additional communication that will help provide training for that. You have to complete a background check and to be able to come and ride with the team. The registration fees it's $25 for the league, and then the background check, I think the first time is in the $30, and then after that it's like $11. So it's not too expensive. And then there are tons of volunteer positions outside of riding with the kids. We need a lot of help. These race venues are just massive, and if you've never been to one, they are just crazy events, because we have over 7,000 kids racing in the state. And that means that we're divided into 6 regions. So each race has about 1,200 athletes coming and all their families. And it's just a huge event that we put out in these locations. And there's a lot that has to happen to make it happen. So we need a lot of parental support. Okay. When? So I've mentioned this a little bit. Registration opens April 1st. Go to the website. There will be instructions to click through, and I'll cover this a little bit more. We close when the team's full, or April 16th. So it'll probably be April 16th this year. And then we officially start practices on June 1st. We do have some preseason events planned that might require a bike or would be better on a bike. But we also will have some social events, and there's no reason why you couldn't get out and ride now. Our practices are Monday and Wednesday evening. We start about 2 hours before sunset. So as the days get shorter, we move that earlier on in the day and try to finish before sunset. In September, that gets kind of early. So, but in June, it starts at 7. All right, here are our race locations and dates. You can see, August 17th is a little bit earlier this year, and that's our first race in Cedar City. Then we have one in Soldier Hollow, which is about an hour drive away for most people, and then Vernal. Our racers start at 8 a.m. Your racer might start as late as 9:30, but you need to be there about 90 minutes before, so you have to be there kind of early. For other venues, I highly recommend staying out near them. You can camp. Some of the venues support camping in the parking lot, like Vernal, for example. There's a lot of just dirt out there that you can bring a trailer, pitch a tent, make an evening of it, wake up nice and early, and you're right there at the race course. Cedar City is a little bit more complicated. But we have the race dates, and then usually, and this varies from venue to venue, they try to make the venue available a week before, with some markings, just to kind of basic outline the course, and then they fully mark the course the day before the race. So there's an official pre-ride. It starts at about 4 p.m. the Friday before the race that has the course fully marked. For the junior devos, they might not have it may not be the best idea to go do 10 laps during the pre-ride or whatever, but you have a week before that you can get out and check out these race venues. All of these race venues are pretty solid. They're pretty good. So nothing too crazy about them. All right. Yep. And it's spring now. Fortunately, the trails are warming up, so I have been able to get out, but it's raining outside right now. So this was taken maybe a couple weeks ago of me waiting for the trails to dry out. Go ride now. You can start riding and get warmed up. Don't wait until June 1st to be the first time to get on your bike. But we do have complete beginners join the team, and it can be fun. So, all right, even though it's intimidating for complete beginners. So we have 3, 4 primary locations that we use. And then there are some other trail systems that are close that we also leverage. So Corner Canyon, we practice all across Corner Canyon. We have a couple different starting locations. Our primary place is Angels Gate or Beacon Hill. Beacon Hill Park is usually where the Devos, our junior Devo team, starts, which is it's just in like Alpine below Angels Gate in Hogs Hollow area. Highland Hollows is the kind of ditch behind Smith's where the Dry Creek runs, that they're building the new reservoir. There are some little trail systems there that we're trying to build up and make more fun for our Devos, but it's a great staging area and great place to just practice skills where we're kind of by ourselves. Lambert Park in Alpine is another place that we practice. Valley Vista was built specifically for training high school and beginner riders. It's a great venue for us, even though it gets kind of dusty near the end of the year. We're going to try to change where we park for the Devo teams. I think we're going to try to park closer at the bottom to make it better for some of our more beginner riders this year, and there will be more information about that. Eagle Mountain is one of the earlier race venues that was created. It sits on Sitla land, and it is a great opportunity to get a race lap in to get an idea of the distance and vertical climbing that is done in a typical race venue. Because like Soldier Hollow is on private property, you have to go pay to ride outside of the official pre-ride. So it's a great option to just train for like what is a typical race distance and effort. And then there's also one up in Harriman that I might try to get us to. That's another new venue, but that's a little bit further away. So we'll see how that works. All right. And I'll put more information about there's our parking and getting to these venues. There's already a couple of videos up on our YouTube channel about getting to some of these practice locations, and I'll update them as needed. Okay. The why. This is my favorite part. We do this for fun, and fun varies for different people. There's different ways to have fun. Some people like they just want to go out and pedal with their friends and just kind of enjoy how things are going. Other people want to go and hammer the whole time and suffer, and that's their fun. They're the type of fun people. So there's a place for everybody, but our goal will always be to emphasize having fun in a safe manner. So we're not going to be yelling at your kids to go faster so that they can win the races. If you want to yell at your kid, well, please don't. But if you do it outside of practices. So we're there to create a good environment that's fun for these kids and get them familiar with the sport of mountain biking. All right. Registration. So this is an overview of the fees that we have. And once registration goes live on April 1st, there will be clickable things that you can go through and complete each step for registration. Kit fee, I'll talk a little bit more about the kit. That's like our team uniform. That's $110 for the junior Devo for the kid sizing. If you have an adult size, it goes up to $180. And our junior Devos vary in size quite a bit. Then we have a $150 team fee that goes to our team, and that pays for all of the equipment that we like take to the races, and it helps pay for our activities and the other things that we do. Next is the league fee, and that's NICA, and that they have a bunch of full-time staff that go out and find these race venues, and they do a lot during the races. So that's what that primarily goes to. And there are ways that we can give scholarships for and help out with these fees. So if these are problematic and might keep you from joining the team, reach out, send me an email, and we can figure out how to enable it so you can ride with the team. Okay. Yep. So right now that total's wrong. It should be say it's 450. We're a little bit higher than 600 now. It's like 660, right? No, my math 560. We're at 560. Okay. And we're working on trying to simplify the process, but the basic thing is first you buy the kit, the team uniform, then that gets you the link to register with the team where you do the team fees, and then we have to send an invite through our pit zone that invites you to the team with the league. And so it's a 3-part process. We're trying to combine the first two, but know that there are just 3 components to it that you have to complete before you're fully finalized. And we can watch you through some of this process and notice when you haven't completed it, and we'll reach out and help you finish it. We're here to help you as that registration process. It's intimidating, but once you kind of get used to it, it makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about the kit. This is our team uniform. It is customized. We update it every year. It is the one piece of equipment that's required. Well, and a bike and a helmet, but this is we require our athletes to wear the kit at the races. They don't have to wear them for practices, and sometimes if your kid crashes a lot, maybe you don't want them wearing them to practice, so they're not like tearing holes in them and having to sew them back up. They are very nice. So the company that we go through is a very nice bicycle clothing manufacturer, hand sewn in Italy, blah, blah, blah. If you look up the non-team price of these things, you might be a little bit shocked. But they're pretty good value. They're some of the best cycling clothes. And even though they are stretchy pants, like Jack Black says, they are designed for biking. But the sizing is really weird. So we have what's called a team fit night, where we have a bunch of the different sizes provided by the company that you can go and try on and just gauge to see which size you should be. And I highly recommend this if you're new to the program and you don't know that, they just need a size up. Like I'm to the point where, I know my kids just need a size up or they're good in their current size. But come check the sizing, because it's not what you expect. And if you're trying to go off of measurements, it can be frustrating. They take a couple of months to make. So you order the kit in April and we might get them delivered like early July. We don't do any other buys, because by the time we would do it, it would be too late. And we don't order spares. So that's why, once you buy the kit, then we proceed on the process. So that we make sure that you have that kit purchased. Yeah. And that's the start of the registration. And then TeamSnap is this other app. Parents can go create an account now, and then you can tie your kid registration to it if you want, but don't worry about that at this point. We'll send you the link for registration with TeamSnap, and that's where you pay the team fees. And we use TeamSnap to communicate. It will eventually have all of our team practice schedule and locations. We communicate with parents and update you depending on weather. If there's lightning, we might have to cancel practice, and we'll update you in TeamSnap. So that's our primary communication method once registration is complete. And I'll be honest, nobody loves Team Snap, but from an organizational standpoint and helping us run the team, there's nothing better out there. So bear with us, and you figure it out, and it gets less worse. Then pit zone, that's just where we keep track of our registration. That's also where you'll say what level of ability your kid has, and we'll figure that out through the season and see which categories they race in. If you are a returning parent, you don't need to get a new invite. You can actually go in as soon as April 1st happens, and then you can register your student. You don't need to wait for the invite. Um, and this is where you pay the league fees. Okay, so what equipment do we need? You need a cross-country mountain bike. We do not allow kids to come to any NICA event and use e-bikes, unfortunately. So they need a bike that they can pedal. They have to have a helmet. Every time you put a leg over a bike at any of our events, you have to be wearing a helmet. For practices, we're in the evening, it can get really hot. We need to make sure that your kids are carrying 2 water bottles or the equivalent amount of water. And you can do that via bottle cages on the bike. You can do it with a hydration pack. You can do it with, like I personally wear a little hip pack, fanny pack that has another spot for another water bottle because I only have one bottle cage on one of my bikes. Bring water. Make sure that you have a way to bring enough water. Protective eye gear, gloves, some spare tube, or some equipment like a spare tube, a pump, CO2, so that we're not trying to figure out what weird size bike tires you have and see if we have a spare tube when we get flats. Snacks. Also, make sure your kids are eating throughout the day before they come to practice. And then the cycling kit that you have to wear during races. Okay, here is my sneaky question. Which of these is a cross-country mountain bike? Trick question. None of them are. These are cross-country mountain bikes. You can have full suspension cross-country mountain bikes, but we have an enduro bike over on the right. That's a heavy, more downhill-oriented one, road bike and fat bike. So a cross-country bike is lightweight, okay? For kids, they're pretty light themselves. So every pound on a 100-pound kid is like 2 pounds for an adult that's like me, that's 190 pounds. So weight matters a lot for kids. And unfortunately, you pay premium I can't remember what they say the math is, but it gets more expensive the lighter you get. But try to aim for like about the 25-pound mark if you can. But I have a clarification on that in a second. Cross-country bikes have fast-rolling cross-country tires. They're geared for climbing, so you have like a small chainring in the front and then like a big, large cog in the back. Give you that gearing. We are hoping that you probably do short travel suspension because we're sticking to blue and green trails. You won't need that 170 millimeter Fox 38 in the front. So like 100 to 120 millimeters of travel of an air sprung suspension is good. Cross-country bikes are positioned for pedaling efficiency. They've made major changes and major upgrades in the past years. So modern bikes pedal a lot more efficiently and are more comfortable and more stable. I want to emphasize, if you have a beginner rider, have them start on flats. It'll make the experience a lot more pleasant for them. People have shown there's not really a difference in speed between flats and clipless, so stick with the flats. The used market is great right now. The bicycle industry is having a hard time, and so everybody bought bikes during the pandemic and then now are selling them, so you can get a killer deal on bikes right now on the used market. And hopefully this guide helps you know kind of what to get. Now, as I was saying, I got this bike last year. It is a hardtail with a single speed belt drive, so it has no additional gears. And I kind of got it as kind of a proof of concept And last year I was riding and I would beat the kids up the hill and then I would beat them down the hill as well. And they would ask me, how are you doing that? And I didn't have a good answer for them last year. But this year, the answer is because I ride a lot. I ride a ton. And so even though this bike does things wrong on purpose, it doesn't matter as much. It's the rider that matters. So if you're out there time and saddle, you will get faster. And so don't worry. Even though, like I will say, a light bike, try to get as light of a bike as possible for this team. But you know what? If you can't, just spend time in the saddle, and you will get faster. And the rider matters way more than the actual bike. Okay. Next, I want to talk about helmets. Helmets are very important. There is a difference between mountain bike and road and BMX and different types of helmets. Mountain bike helmets, as you can see here, they have a bit more coverage on the sides than this road bike helmet. And so they're designed to more likely be used. Um, Try to get a newer helmet. After about 5 years, the foam that they use to make these out of starts deteriorating and is less able to absorb hits. They are single use. If you have a crash and you hit your head with a helmet, you need to replace it. There might be damage to the foam that you can't see, and it might impair its ability to help the next time you hit your head. And like I said earlier, they have to be worn every time a leg is over a bike. So, very important. Okay, we need volunteers. I mentioned this before and I'm going to say it again. Like, we need a lot of parental involvement. Uh, March 12th is already passed, but if you are able to, if you want to go ride with kids, we need parents who are willing to also. We already have a bunch that have registered as ride leaders, but we need as many as we can get. So when you come and volunteer, there's a whole coaches program. There are 3 levels of certification. Level 3 is just head coaches. Level 2 are the ride leaders who can go out and lead the groups, and then level 1 are any parents that want to come and ride. And we need as many ride leader or coaches as we can at any certification level 1 or 2. You will be helpful. If you go do level 1 and you're like, hey, that wasn't too bad, try to get level 2. We need as many level 2s as possible because we divide into a lot of groups, and things happen on the trails, so we have to sometimes even divide more into groups. And if we're taking a kid back to the trailhead because he got stung, in order to not have to turn the whole group around, we need multiple level 2 and level 1s in each group so that we can divide and conquer and deal with things that happen. Our races are huge. Like I said, 1,200 students. There's a small city that pops up in these little little towns. A lot of our venues are out in these small cities, and these towns have been. I mean, we bring in a lot of money to these small towns, and so some of these small towns are popping up venues because they want to get some of the tourism money, or whatever you call it, that comes in just because there are so many people coming into their town for these races during the summer. It'd be a huge boost to their economy just because it's such a big event. Races start at 8 a.m. and they go until 4. The last one starts late afternoon, like 4:40 or so, depending on how many waves there are. And throughout that entire time, we need parents organizing, helping. The league needs help. We need help. Like, the league has parents watching as course marshals. You can go ride around the course and help kids out during the race that might crash or have a technical issue. There are just so many opportunities. There are also non-riding things where you're helping out with registrations, getting kids checked in, race plates. We have snacks. We have the whole tent. We have a huge tent that we set up for our team because we combine with a high school team. So there are maybe 250-ish to 300 possible racers that will be there for the race day from just our team. We have trailers that have to be hauled down. So if you have a truck that can haul, you can help out that way too. We also we are required, and I fully support this requirement. We are required to do trail maintenance because we are such a large group and such a large presence on all these trails. It's important that we play nice with other trail users, and part of that is taking care of the trails. So we're required to do that. The junior devos have half the requirement. We only have to do 2 hours of trail maintenance per athlete, but we really want to focus on being good stewards of the trail and taking care of these resources that we have. And that helps us with the communities because if you aren't aware, there have been a lot of conflicts between residents of cities and trail systems. And so the better that we can represent the sport, it's really important for the success of the program. I mentioned grit. We have a special program where we'll have special events just for the girls on the team to go socialize or ride together with only girls. And it's a great opportunity. We try to expand it beyond our team so that you can go and ride with girls on other teams and know that there are other girls participating in this sport. It's a really great opportunity to make it a better environment for girls that come and ride, and that includes women ride leaders and stuff like that. If you're if you're a mom and you have the time to come out and ride with us, but you're a complete noob, that is perfectly fine. We have moms that have come and shown up and barely know how to ride a bike, and by the time their kids in high school, they are like some of the fastest, most aggressive riders on on the team. So uh, it's incredible. Like Camille uh, Hine, who is the assistant head coach this year, uh, she was new to mountain biking when her kids joined the program, and it's just been a great experience. So and that goes to dads as well who want to get into it. Like it's a great opportunity to come and participate with your kids, and we need you even if you're a complete beginner because sometimes we just need the manpower to spread it or spread around and make things happen. And if you're really good at parties or stuff like that or whatever, we need help in every aspect. Okay, so we do have a separate registration process. Like I said, go to our website, do join us. Elevate scholarships, bike loans. I've kind of already touched on all of this. If you have any further questions, please reach out, coach@lpjuniordevo.org, and I'll try to get back to you. And I know I probably missed a bunch of stuff to talk about. Um, Here's a little bonus slide to show me doing a white rim trip with my family. My family, when I was a kid, would go and do the white rim in southern Utah um, almost every year. So if you can see, there I am. That's my dad. That's my mom. Siblings, aunts, and uncles, and so it's a great program. It's got me like I wish I had had this as a kid because it's so much fun and it's just getting out and riding bikes, having fun. So anyway, thank you, and reach out with any questions.